Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Well, hello everybody. I want to welcome you with the tool of astrology into understanding the energies of this week. The week from the 3rd of December, can you believe we're in December, right up until the 10th of December. So a whole 7 days we're going to cover here. Now, I should have done, by the time this video goes up on Saturday morning in Australia, I should have also shared my full moon in Gemini video for all signs with my Patreon family. So if you would like to know what's in store for you with this rather exciting full moon, which I'll briefly mention in the Astro Weather Report here, but if you'd like to join me to find out how it's going to apply to your sign, then all you've got to do is join me at the Patreon family. It's €5 for 1 month. You can join for a month, you can join for 2, 3, 4, however long you want. Come and join us for new moon and full moon reports and an astrological teaching session every month. And of course, special eclipse videos at eclipse season. So we'd love to join you. We'd love you to join us at the Patreon family. Now, before we get into this week's Astro Weather, I need to announce the November winner of the Solar Return Report. And before I do, I just want to let everybody know what a Solar Return Report actually is. It's not an analysis of your birth chart. It's looking at the placement of all the planets at the moment that the sun returns to the spot where it was when you were born. So each solar return, which happens around our birthday, sometimes it's the day before, sometimes it's the day after, that the sun returns to the spot it was when you were born in your birth chart. When that occurs, every year we get a new solar return chart for the year ahead. And that's what we're analyzing. Not your birth chart, but the chart of the return of the sun to its natal position. And so by looking at the solar return chart, we can say, oh, this is going to be a great year for making money. Or you might have some challenges in the health front this year. Or what would be really good for you this year is changing careers. We can look at all sorts of different amazing things through the solar return chart. Now, that is why I call it a year ahead reading, because it's active for a whole year until the sun returns back to that spot again the next year. And then you get a whole new solar return report or chart to determine what's coming up in the next year of your life. So that's what it is. Now, a lot of people, email me and say, "Oh, Kesenya, you've given me a solar return report chart, but all the placements are wrong. I haven't got an ascendant in Virgo. My ascendant's in Libra." Things like that. Well, of course, it is always different every year, because the sun will return to the same spot it was when you were born, but the rest of the planets and the rising sign are all likely to be different. So that's why every year is different. Energetically, we're under different influences in our life. So I just wanted to clarify that so people know what a solar return in the most very briefest form is. If you would like to know more about solar return charts and how to read them and how to analyze them, I'm going to be covering that extensively in the Royal Stars Academy Level 2 course being released around February, March next year. Can't wait for that one to be released to you all. You're going to love it. But back to this month's winner of a solar return report, and there's a winner every single month here at Guiding Star Astrology. This month's winner, drum roll, is Dwayne Boland. Duane Boland. Dwayne, if you are watching this video, you are the winner. And all you've got to do is contact me through the website. The website should be listed below. Use the contact form, send me a message, and we will arrange for your solar return report to be done for you ASAP. So Dwayne, congratulations on your win. And for the rest of you, if you would like to be a winner of a solar return report, all you've got to do is like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Like and share the videos, then you go into the draw. Let me know in the comments that you have done so, and we hope that you'll be the lucky winner at next month's December draw. All right, on with the Astro Weather Show. Today, or rather this week, we're looking, as I said, from the 3rd of December to the 10th of December, and there's a lot going on. So settle in, sit tight, let's break it down. And then we're going to do an all signs look at what's coming up in the week ahead for you personally. So on the 4th of December, we've got Neptune down here turning direct. Let me put a lovely little D above my blue Neptune there in Pisces. Clarity will return on the 4th of December. So if you've been feeling over the last 5 to 6 months that you've been sort of moving through swampy waters, not knowing where you're going, lacking in clarity, not knowing what you're actually looking for in life, that's one expression of a retrograde Neptune. Neptune's been retrograde for about 5 to 6 months. Have you felt heightened sensitivity during this time, or even irrational fears and phobias that are creeping up on you like some sort of swamp monster in an old B-grade sci-fi flick? That's Neptune retrograde. Nothing is clear, but you feel like something's around the corner. You can't explain what. It feels a little bit uncertain, foggy, misty, a bit dangerous maybe. And that's Neptune retrograde. We want to move ahead, but there's fear around the corner. Maybe we're afraid of our success, our potential for success, and so we self-sabotage. Maybe we have shame issues that come up that keep us from living our highest self, our highest truth. Well, this is all Neptune retrograde kind of stuff. Now, if you've got Neptune retrograde in your natal chart, that's a whole different ball game. I cover natal retrograde planets in the Royal Stars Academy Level 2 for those who are interested in that. Do sign up so you can be informed when the Royal Stars Academy Level 2 is released. Sign up to the newsletter, etc. But that's the energy of the general feel we're all going to be getting at this time when Neptune is retrograde. But hallelujah, on the 4th it turns direct. So Neptune rules where we have the ability to manifest something through our imaginations. But while Neptune is retrograde, we're not usually aware of our capacity to manifest anything through our visualization techniques. We don't really know what we want, so we can't imagine it. We can't put it into practice. So it's our false perceptions of who we are and what we can achieve and what our life can look like that are actually what is holding us back during retrograde Neptune. So now that Neptune's direct, we enter this time when we realize what we're capable of. And we know what we can manifest. We also know what we want to manifest. We also realize a few things when Neptune turns direct. We realize where we haven't been seeing things for what they truly are. We've been seeing things through rose-colored glasses, where things have been foggy. We thought one person was this way when really they're that way. Or we thought a job opportunity was going to be this when it turned out to be that. We haven't seen things for what they are. Now Neptune is direct, we can. We can also see when Neptune turns direct where we have let our own silly inhibitions and fears get in the way of our true capacity to live the lives we want, to follow our heart. So the fog clears, essentially. Clarity returns, and that silly swamp man turns out to be nothing but a shadow after all. So it's good times when Neptune turns direct for humanity in that sense that clarity becomes ours again. Now, also on the 4th of December, we have another action that's tying into this Neptune direct. But while Neptune direct can be quite a blessing in terms of clarity, the square that we've got from Venus over here, which is happening on the same day, to Neptune, And this is happening at 22 degrees of Pisces and Sagittarius respectively, both mutable signs. This is a bit more of a difficult energy. Okay, so this is happening on the same day, the 4th of December. Our perceptions won't really be matching up with the reality that we're living too well because of this Neptune Venus square. It's only going to last a day or two, and then we're going to be fully into the throes of the blessed Neptune direct energy. But it could, just to let you know, it's turning direct on the 4th, but we could remain a bit hazy for a day or two because of this Neptune square. So we might think we're Rapunzel, about to be rescued from our horrific life, when in reality the enemy is actually crouching at our door. So we're deceived. That's Neptune's shadow energy. Deceived about romantic prospects, about prospects for money. Venus-ruled things get the energy of deception playing at them. So be careful where you place your trust. You know, especially when it comes to things like romantic partners. This is an influence that can result in disastrous affairs. Neptune's the ruler of affairs. Relationships with married people, relationships where there's, a third party that you don't know about, somebody's polyamorous, but they're telling you they're not. It's that kind of shonky shyster kind of stuff. Getting involved in circumstances that lead to addiction, or simply being ripped off by somebody is this Neptune square to Venus energy. So naturally, with this fanciful, romantic yet deceptive energy, we can wind up feeling very disappointed and very disillusioned. And let me just say, there's no judgment if you do happen to fall into the murky swamp, the murky waters of a Neptune deception, because let me just say, we're all subject to it at some point or other, sooner or later in our lives. It's just part of our lived experiences as a divine being having a human experience. So no judgment whatsoever if you get deceived, okay? But I want to warn you, this is an energy for getting deceived, so have your wits about you on the 4th of December. So having a healthy form of luxurious escapism is a good way to channel this energy into the better realms, so to speak. So go on a retreat, go to a day spa, book your pamper sessions straight away, for the 4th of December, or some sort of a steam building body treatment experience, though you come away feeling like, I'm so glamorous. Neptune is glamour and Venus is beauty. Now, if you can set something up like that on the 4th of December without any expectations regarding the results it's going to give you and just enjoying the experience for its own sake, then you will actually channel the highest and most blessed manifestation of this energy, and that is going to really help you work with this to the best of your advantage, which is what we're all about here at Guiding Star Astrology. Moving on, the 6th of December, we're going to have another square aspect, and this time it's between the big gun Jupiter and his opposition counterpart in the chart, little old Mercury down here. So again, we've got a square, and it's running from Pisces in this case to Sagittarius. So as you can see, Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter is opposite Gemini, ruled by Mercury. Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, is opposite Virgo, ruled by Gemini. So these two are kind of like the antithesis in many senses of one another. They're opposite energies to one another. So they're a bit like oil and water in that way, like that. They don't hate each other, but they aren't exactly friends. So let's talk about when they're in a square aspect to one another. Both of them are rulers of mutable signs. Both of them can handle a bit of flexibility and a bit of change, so that's their great advantage. But if you've got some planning to do, this energy can be your friend, even though it's a square. Just don't be surprised if in your planning and your scheming and you're looking ahead to the future that you bite off more than you can chew. That's the one thing to be careful of. So it's fine to daydream and plan and scheme and try and structure a game plan for getting what you want, but it could be larger than life and therefore not achievable. Delusion. And don't forget, Neptune's not far away from the game either, giving that delusion energy. But this tricky little square can make us a little bit impractical, or overly optimistic is perhaps a better way to put it. It can cause us to even adopt a dogmatic approach that might rub other people the wrong way, especially when we're talking about our beliefs or our ethics. Jupiter is beliefs and ethics, and a square aspect to Neptune, what we talk about, what we think about, makes us very pharisaical, dogmatic, zealot kind of energy, Bible bashery kind of energy. where we won't listen to opposing perspectives and other views. It's my way or the highway, thank you very much. So you might encounter people who are behaving like that on the 6th of December, or you might be exhibiting those sorts of behaviors yourself. So I'm telling you this so you can pull yourself up and go, oh my God, I'm not going to turn into one of those, those people who's bashing everybody over the head with what I think is right and everyone else can go to hell. No, we don't want to do that. So be aware that's the energy that's going to be around on the 6th of December. Now, in the positive, it can give a very uplifting mindset, optimistic mindset, and so it's a wonderful energy for absorbing the diversity and the curiosity of this life through being curious, being open-minded to the point where, you want to find out, okay, about certain ideas, certain beliefs. You want to expand upon what you know. So do make sure that you take the time on the 6th of December to take in all the wonder of the world and learn and grow from it, because this energy will help you to do that. Now, on the 7th of December, because these two are sitting at the final degrees of their relative signs, on the 7th of December, we've got Neptune moving right on into Capricorn. And so he's going to spend quite a bit of time here, because he's going to go retrograding in Capricorn at the end of December. So get ready. We're going to have a long haul of Mercury in the sign of Capricorn. And this is where our mental and communicative processes can actually slow down a bit. We're light and bubbly and breezy when Mercury is in Sagittarius and then into Capricorn, and it just becomes a bit weighty, a bit like we can't think as quick and witty any longer. We've got to process things for a bit longer time, because this is heavy earth energy, Capricorn. So we're going to need more time to think things through, generally speaking. Our appreciation of structure and order will increase, though. We will like things to be organized. We will like things to be well laid out and well planned out, and that can serve us very well, of course. And we need to actually manage information in our life, or handle information in manageable chunks. If we're trying to get through 10 YouTube documentaries, we'll probably end up having a meltdown. We need to say, okay, well, tonight I'm going to watch one, and then 2 nights time I'll watch the next one. Don't overwhelm your mental intake with too much at once, because Mercury in Capricorn can't handle it. It has to be systematic in order for Mercury to cope well in Capricorn. But it is a good time to begin practically oriented projects, things that will be useful in helping us to grow our social status in the world and to increase our presence in the world in a positive way, whatever that might look like for you. Practical things, I don't know, like it could be working on a project for work, or starting to write a book that you see is going to be the legacy you're going to leave, the story of your life or something. You might write some journal articles, because of course Mercury is all these things. You might start some sort of social media channel or something like that, that's here to expand your presence in the world in a positive, respectful, authoritative sense. Capricorn energy. So you can do that very well under this Mercury in Capricorn season. Do be conscious of developing, though, a mental attitude of criticism and doubtfulness. That's the shadow side of Mercury in Capricorn. And this includes criticism of yourself and criticism and doubtfulness of other people. Instead, what we can do is develop a mantra, because Mercury has to do with mantras. A mantra of, I'm going to keep things light, I'm going to keep things breezy, and I'm going to keep things bright. And if you can keep a mantra in your head of that's what I want, and work towards achieving light, breezy, bubbly flow, then you should be able to fly through this Mercury in Capricorn season with aplomb, as they say. All right, 8th of December, we have the Sun over here in Sagittarius, and it's opposing Mars in Gemini. And of course, Mars is retrograde. Yes, this is a hefty one. Okay, it's a highly competitive energy on the 8th of December, but unfortunately not in a healthy competitive way. We're fighting for our rights. We're fighting to maintain our identity now. Now we know that the world's already in a state of, strike a match and the thing will explode. We've got China, we've got Iran. There are likely to be many other places where protests could erupt too under an energy like this one. So just be aware. That's what's coming up. And we should anyhow, regardless of this energy, be praying for our brothers and sisters in China who are trying to take back their liberty or establish freedom in their country. And the same with the men and women of Iran where they have been so subverted for, no, let's not even go into it, for the just horrific reasons. So, prayers for those people. I'm praying for them. I hope you're joining me in sending that beautiful energy of freedom and liberty and righteousness to those people. Justice is what we're after, justice. So back to how this is going to affect us, Mars opposite the Sun. We might be fighting for our rights personally in some circumstance in our life. We might be fighting to maintain our identity now. And this opposition asks us, what do we want and what do we desire in our life that is going to help us affirm who we are, help us affirm our identity? What have we got to fight for to affirm our own right to live as we want and to live the life that we choose? We might have to fight for that identity now. And how prepared are we to take a stand for our rights, for our individuality, for our chosen autonomous life journey? Are you prepared to take a stand for that? So one thing we need to do under Mars opposite Sun energy is watch how we assert ourselves. Is our ego being provoked into reactivity under this energy? That can happen. Or are you rationally and calmly setting boundaries regarding what your needs and wants are? That's a better way to approach it, obviously. Calm, rational. This energy is anything but if you can manage to keep the calm, rational approach, you're going to be winning. Forget the passive-aggressive approach. That is just not pretty. And avoid the big blow-ups wherever you can. That's the other extreme. Watch out for other people provoking your anger or provoking your envy, and try to detach and see the world from all points of view, to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, as they say. Clear the air with others under this energy, and when you do so, do it with patience. Do it with honesty. If all else fails, and you're feeling so, frustrated and tense because of the build-up of energy, then, release that tension with some sports, exercise. Go for a run, go for a jog, go for a bike ride, or spend some time cooling off literally in the water. Go for a swim, go for a ski, go for a surf. So this energy you can use to your advantage. If you are, finding it tense, get active. All right, now on the also on the 8th, when this occurs, we're also having a very fascinating full moon. So it's fascinating. We've got the Sun, Earth, Moon, and Mars lined up in a straight line in the sky, making this really strong aspect to one another. And what a potent full moon this is going to be. It is conjunct, the moon will be conjunct retrograde Mars, out of bounds Mars. So out of bounds means quite wild. It's also conjunct with the fixed star Rigel. That's got its own set of parameters. I talk about this in the Patreon family report. And of course, there is a loose trine. It's not the exact degree, but there is a loose trine to Saturn that's coming from this full moon. That's tying into this as well. So it's a hefty one. Now, one thing that's super duper interesting is that the moon is actually going to occult Mars when it's making this full moon aspect to the Sun. Now, occult means that they're going to be at practically the exact degree of declination. That's rare and unusual. This is a very rare full moon because of this. Again, I break it down for my Patreon family. And wherever this occulted Mars full moon occurs, or is visible in the sky, I should say, it represents the people groups that are going to be most affected by this out of bounds Mars. And of course, if Mars is out of bounds by declination, so is the moon. Moon's out of bounds and full, conjunct Rigel, conjunct Mars, who's also out of bounds and retrograde, meaning that is extra powerful when Mars is retrograde. Oh my God, you're going to want to tune into this Patreon family report, because this is no ordinary run-of-the-mill Yawn City average full moon. This one has its skates on. Look out. And of course, in ancient Mesopotamia, they had all sorts of omens for when this happened and what would occur for the countries to which it was visible. We're going to talk all about that in the Patreon family report. You can join the Patreon channel by simply going to the link below, where I get on down with all this juicy stuff. All right, now December the 9th, the day after this hefty full moon, we have a Venus square to Jupiter. So where Venus had squared Neptune a couple of days earlier, then she catches up and makes a square to Jupiter. I'm not going to draw another square aspect there because it's quite clear that's what's going on between those planets. But these two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, give us a lighter, hard aspect than the malefics when they square. When malefic planets square one another, it's like tension, volcano, earthquake city, like let her rip. When the two friendly, placid sort of malefics get into it, it's a lot easier to bear, and we can thank the good Lord for that. So it's actually a great transit for good times and a good energy to have fun, to party, good energy for generosity, good energy for optimism, thinking positively. The only thing to be aware of with this, as with all Jupiter hard aspects, is about overdoing it. Too generous, so then your bank account's empty. You got nothing to buy, Christmas lunch with. You're having too much fun. You come home sloshed and wake up with the worst hangover you've ever had. Like that's Jupiter energy. Just too much of a good thing is not a good thing in the long run. Venus is pleasures, luxuries, fashion, and food. And Jupiter is extravagance when he's in a hard aspect. So make sure you know what you've got in your bank account before you spend, and watch your waistline. That's another thing to be careful of. So it's all about just being careful and conscious of what this energy can bring about, okay? But enjoy what it does bring about that's of benefit. Just don't overdo it. But socializing and friendships, they all flourish now. So relax and enjoy the beautiful connections and socializations in your life under this energy. And finally, as you can see, huge week. Finally, we're looking at Venus moving into Capricorn on the 10th of December. Now, Saturn rules Capricorn, and Saturn is a friend to Venus. So while we might initially think, the party girl Venus going into the sort of hardworking patriarch Capricorn energy in terms of archetypes, we might assume that that's going to be a difficult combo. They actually respect one another. They have a lot of, kudos to the party animal and kudos to the hardworking patriarch. So the result of this, Venus and Saturn are friends, in other words. But the result of this transit can end up being very pleasing. And then whatever happens during Venus in transits to Capricorn's energy, whatever happens during that time, it can last for the long term and be with you and endure. So good stuff. We want loyalty in our relationships now, not fly by night, flash in the pan, one night stands. No, we want endurance in relationships that we establish when Venus is in Capricorn. We want beauty in all our structures. Capricorn structure, Venus beauty. So, if we're designing something architecturally or doing some landscape design or constructing some furniture, we want it to be beautiful as well as functional under this energy. We want classic, we want stylish pleasures. Some of us might even find a new love for work and a new love for duty and a new love for responsibility while Venus is moving through Capricorn. So whatever manifests for us now, whatever arrives in our life with regard to love, beauty, finances, it's going to tend to be with us, as I said, for the long term. So make your life beautiful now for the next roughly 30 days while Venus is here. Make your life beautiful in every possible way you can so that beauty will last and stay with you for the long term. You can save and have lots of money in your bank account now and know that it's going to last you the long term. You can redecorate your home knowing that you're going to enjoy the beauty for a longer term than just the fashion of the season, all that sort of thing. Whatever you build that is beautiful or has to do with finances or love now can last longer. So lots of blessing with this one. Alrighty, well, let's begin to look at the effect of Neptune down here turning direct through all signs. Now, you're just going to have to keep in mind that this Neptune direct, which is happening on the 4th of December, you might not notice its activation until a couple of days later once Venus has finished squaring Neptune. Okay, so that could have an impact for how quickly you feel the Neptune direct energy. But let's start. I'm going to start with a different sign. And I love starting with different signs. I know a lot of people get confused and they don't use the timestamps and then they're like, where's my sign? Please use the timestamps. That's why I describe in the introduction how to work with this video to your best advantage by using the timestamps that I provide. So please don't leave comments saying, where's my sign? You never do my sign. And you're also rude and horrible, Kesenya, because you never put my sign in. I do put all signs. I just need to spell that out because I've been so hurt by the comments people are leaving saying, you never put my sign in. It's never there any week. I'm sorry, but Every week there is a timestamp for every sign. Please use this video as I describe for you to use it in the introduction to this video, please. And please don't leave those rude comments because it is so hurtful. I'm a Pisces, extra sensitive, can't handle it. Thank you. Okay. I didn't know whether I should talk about that or not this week, but anyway, I've said it now. It's off my chest. Thank you for listening. Libra. We're going to start with Libra because, I just thought we'd mix it up a bit this week. So Neptune is turning direct for our Libran sun, moon, and rising friends. Neptune is turning direct down here in your 6th house. Now, when Neptune's in the 6th house, Neptune as a planet does not want structure. It doesn't like organization and planning, and it wants to know what's happening in 5 weeks' time and, appointments at, 11 o'clock on the dot on this day and that day. That's not Neptune. It wants flow. It wants lightness of being. It wants flexibility. It doesn't want to be hemmed in. Neptune rules the oceans. Try to hold back the tide. Good luck to you. You can't do it. Neptune wants to flow. So the 6th house is all about routine, grounded structure, organization, and Neptune here wants flow and lightness of being. So the duration of Neptune in Pisces for Libran people might have been quite difficult because you might have strived to have structure, but all you're getting is, things being a little bit haywire, unpredictable, and you've got to keep that flexibility. So this Neptune turning direct might help you cope a little bit better, actually, I must say, with a bit more structure. When Neptune's retrograding, it's stronger and more powerful, and therefore the ability to cope with organization and structure and time schedules is more difficult. Now that Neptune's direct, you're going to cope better. You still want flow, but now that Neptune's direct, you'll cope better with structure and with organization here in the 6th house. So you can breathe a sigh of relief there. Now, Neptune in the 6th house, you might desire to be a productive member of society, but you're going to have to be very cruisy for the duration of Neptune direct, and just be open and flexible to surprise twists and turns that might happen, especially when Neptune stations direct. Being flexible, going with the flow regarding the expectations of others, of your work colleagues, of your boss, of your, of your health routine, the expectations you put on yourself for how you're going to, eat and exercise and your routine. Keep it flexible, keep it flowing, and have no expectations, and you'll cope so much better with this change in direction by Neptune. Now, if your work life, if your work life is one where there's freedom to come and go and there's flow and you can do as you please, like you work from home and you can get up and put a load of washing on and then come back to the computer and that sort of thing, then you're going to go really, really well on the 4th of December, because it's very powerful on the 4th of December because Neptune's kind of stations direct and then starts moving again. So the energy is sort of empowered at the one spot, if you know what I mean. If you're going to work in your own unstructured manner, you're going to really go well with this Neptune direct energy. If you are in something that's far more organizational, hierarchical, and structured, it could be a challenge. So I'm just letting you know, the boss might come and have demands on you to be here, do that, fill this timeline, etc., etc. Go kindly on yourself. And don't have too many expectations, because Neptune turning direct means things could be more scattered than you might be able to ordinarily cope with, okay? And it's just the energy of the day. You'll be all right. Now, one thing we recommend when Neptune is in the 6th house is to clear confusion, clear lack of clarity or ambivalence regarding your employment by doing something flowing, like dancing or yoga or water ballet or something, like surfing or wind sailing or something where there's flow, but it's energetic because look, this is the house of our exercise routine. So if you can bring some sort of beautiful Neptunian flow into your body and an exercise routine through yoga, dance, windsurfing, whatever, then you can actually find that after getting in the flow with your body, that confusion and lack of clarity and like I said, ambivalence regarding work, they vanish, they disappear, and suddenly you're in Zen, you're in oneness with the flow of the universe. You know what you want, you know who you are, you know what you want to achieve with your ordinary daily routine, and your work life and your health and your diet. It becomes clear. So that would be my strategy, Libra, for working well with this energy. Get in the physical flow, and it will help the mental clarity enormously. And that goes for the whole duration of Neptune moving direct, which is going to be for another 6 to 7 months. So, if you're feeling unclear and foggy at any stage in the next 6 to 7 months, get on that windsurfer, grab your surfboard, go and get some clarity by doing some Neptunian exercise. All right, thank you, Libra. Scorpio rising, sun or moon. The energy of Neptune turning direct is affecting your 5th house, where Neptune has been for a few years now. But when he turns direct, we get a stronger emphasis on where he's sitting in the chart. And in this case, it's the 5th house. Fifth house is all about romance and love and soulmates, and so is Neptune. So you might have some very romantic tete-a-tetes under this energy, some sort of sexualized or idealistic relationships that flourish under this energy, and that can be, of course, very, very lovely, because when Neptune goes direct, he blows away the winds of fog, doesn't blow away the winds. The winds of Neptune blow away the lack of clarity of Neptune retrograde. I have completely Neptunianized that statement. Neptune is lack of clarity when retrograde. When Neptune goes direct, things can become a little clearer. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so you might get clear about a romantic liaison that you're having, or ideals that you've got about romance. But the aim with this position is to connect to divine love instead of getting caught up in the hedonism and the romantic idealism of the 5th house. Connect to divine love. Avoid cynicism and negativity towards romance. You might have found that during Neptune's retrograde motion, Scorpio, you were somehow deluded in love or disappointed in love or disillusioned by love, and that might have made you a bit cynical. It might have made you a bit negative, and so you may have suffered while Neptune was retrograde here. Now that he's direct, don't close your heart. What Neptune requires of us is to learn from these experiences, and allow those things to keep. Neptune is hope, despite everything in our life appearing to the contrary of what we hope for. So keep your hope alive, and if we can keep our hope alive, eventually Neptune comes up with the goods. Neptune comes up with the rewards for us enduring and having faith, even when it felt like I had nothing to have faith in. So don't close your heart to love and romance, but connect to divine love instead, and try to learn from any mistakes made in romance. Try not to allow your mind to keep living in false illusions, for example, like believing that one day your love interest will leave their wife for you, or leave their boyfriend for you, or something like that. Don't go into that zone, because it's a delusionment. Neptune retrograde. Instead, connect to divine love. Seek to love the self. Seek higher love in your own life, and don't allow yourself to become cynical, so that you can eventually receive the magic. Especially, this is coming for us in the next couple of years as Neptune gets to the end of Pisces. He will give us the magic of the house that Pisces rules in the chart. So lots to look forward to if you can keep the faith. Now, when Neptune turns direct, and that means for the next 6 to 7 months, you could fall in love with a person's soul, or their physical appearance, or their sexual appeal now. You might be attracted to Neptunian people now that Neptune's direct. Musicians, artists, spiritual people. You might be taking positive action to be compassionate towards children, 5th house things. Or you might be working in a organization that values children, like children's rescue, children's advancement organizations, children's empowerment. I actually follow quite a few channels along those lines on social media. So you might be really proactive once Neptune turns direct in the 5th house regarding children and the protection of children in our society. Neptune also dissolves boundaries, and with this position you need to focus on being very discriminatory towards any new sexual partners or romantic partners, because there might be less discernment, and that can leave you feeling more vulnerable to hurt or abuse or even disease, I have to say. So that's whether Neptune is retrograde or direct. We need to be careful with that. It can apply both ways. So the only thing is that when Neptune's retrograde, we are more susceptible to the disillusionment and then getting ourselves into some sort of hot water because of it. Neptune direct gives a little more clarity, but we still need a hefty dose of discernment, okay? You will also find that now Neptune's gone direct, that there's this increased, almost psychic creative expression that manifests in our life. Neptune, when retrograde, tends to give the more spiritual talents to a person, let's say, but when he's direct, he gives a more artistic expression. And here in the 5th house of our creative expression, well, you're going to have a lot of, like ability with poetry or filmmaking or photography, script writing, anything that's highly creative in the more tangible realms rather than sort of the spiritual realms, creative spirituality. So channel that, use that for good. Get your paintbrush out and your art canvas or whatever your creative expression form takes. It might be dancing, could be poetry, could be a lot of different things. But now's the time to get it happening, because your creative expression is going to be supremely heightened, Scorpio, now that Neptune's direct in the 5th house. All right, Sagittarius, rising, sun or moon people. Let me hold that board straight. It does like a wander. All right, I think it's going to be good there. Well, Neptune is turning direct in your 4th house down here in Pisces. So this is a very supportive placement for taking action. I'll get my words out. If you need to restore any broken family relationships or relationships with parental figures, if you need to be set free from a parental dynamic that's hasn't been healthy, you can also address that now that Neptune's direct. So, now's the time, because remember I said clarity can come back on the 4th of December. Now's the time to approach mum and, let that old argument be water under the bridge. Ask for forgiveness. Neptune is forgiveness. Ask for restoration if you need to, or you can approach her and say, Mum, I was really hurt by this behavior. An apology would be so appreciated. You can really seek that out. So this is a time for restoring, like I said, broken family relationships with many family members. You will need to, with Neptune direct here now, express compassion to your family without becoming the savior or the enabler of their problems. So you might need to, learn to set some better boundaries with family members who are taking advantage of you, and you'll see where they are now. The clarity will come. Oh my goodness, here I've been giving myself away in this area to this family member that hasn't been doing me any favors. Now I can see how they're taking advantage of me. Okay, I'm drawing a line in the sand. That's what's going on there, Sagittarius, so that you can be more in your power. It's a lovely energy to take some peaceful exercise near some sort of water, like go to the beach, or having a walk along the river, doing yoga by the lake. Water energy, Pisces. Neptune is also water energy as well in the 4th house, which is a watery house. Like, it's necessary for you to spend time by water, especially now Neptune is direct. And in doing so, you will settle any, topsy-turvy emotions, deep upset emotions as well. So, meditative walks, or, swim in the ocean, releasing those like positive ions and that sort of thing. Very, very, very healthy for you now to balance your emotional life. So I encourage you to get out there and do those sorts of things. This is also the realm of life that has to do with our home environment. And I would encourage you to, there's a few things. Now that Neptune's direct, you can undertake practical work on your home to create more beauty and glamour in your domestic space. That's a winner. Do that. Neptune's going to support you doing that sort of thing. But I would also double check, now that Neptune has changed direction, double check for any water damage, gas leaks, and and any oil issues, if you've got oil heaters and that sort of thing in your home. Because Neptune changing direction in the 4th house by transit can sometimes trigger upsets in those parts of the home. So once again, water leaks, look for water leaks, oil issues and gas issues. Be aware of any hidden property problems as well, because Neptune does have connections to that which is hidden. Particularly if you're looking to purchase a home, do your due diligence on those utilities. So I just ask you to double check those things now that Neptune has turned direct. All right, Capricorn rising, sun or moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune turning direct is affecting your 3rd house. Get my words right. I was about to say 4th house, 3rd house. You might find that you're incredibly inspired now with some sort of writing, to write poetry or to write a fantasy script or to write the next Lord of the Rings trilogy, that's going to take the world by storm. That's what we see with Neptune direct in Pisces. That high, intuitive, creative written expression comes through. You'll also be thinking very intuitively, imaginatively, and creatively. So what you write now could be quite profound and tuning into the oneness of the universe, something that everybody's going to relate to and understand and appreciate. So love this Neptune direct here. You also have a big tendency now towards perhaps daydreaming. So it's a good idea to carve out some space in your week. It doesn't have to be every day, but in your week to be imaginative, to go and get lost with the butterflies in your head. Why not? Why not? It's a beautiful thing to do. And through our visualizations, Capricorn, we can actually achieve sometimes even more than what we can in practical reality, because you must visualize something for it to manifest into reality first. So taking the time to dream it, and then because you're Capricorn, you're very good at taking the time to do it, then you can really achieve. So this is your time for dreaming it so you can do it. Grab that cup of tea on a Saturday morning, curl up in a window seat if you're so lucky to have one, and stare out at the beautiful big golden elm tree out the window and watch the colours play and the butterflies dance and the blue sky twinkle through the leaves. Do that and get lost in the moment of imagination, and you will just be so blessed. It is a fabulous thing to do, to take time to imagine and dream. So you'll have also extreme sensitivity to what others are communicating to you now. In fact, you might be able to pick up very, very well on what others' feelings are or their intent behind their actions, more so than the words that they're using even. So quite a profound psychic ability comes along with Neptune here as well. There's also a beautiful level of creative artistry with Neptune turning direct here. Poetry, like I said, creative writing, but fine art and music can also be tremendously enhanced here as well, especially if you're in a field where you're teaching the creative arts. It's like your level of capacity as somebody who shares the passion and the joy and the love for these things really increases too. Now, it's the house of siblings, so there can be an increase in compassion for your siblings and their situation in life with this situation, with this position of Neptune. It's also good to take action to restore any broken relationships now with siblings or neighbours. Approach them, apologize where apologies need to be made, or ask for apologies where they haven't been given. Sometimes that's one of our biggest problems. We expecting an apology, the other person has no idea. They think that they've even done anything wrong. And so both people are at odds with one another and they don't even know why half the time. So ask for an apology if you need it. Neptune is supporting you if you do that sort of thing. Neptune is about forgiveness. And now that Neptune's direct, get rid of that lack of clarity, between you and a sibling or a neighbour. Be as honest as possible with your words and your communications while Neptune is transiting direct here, or else you will attract back to you what you put out. Any lying, any deceit, any deception of others through your words, it's going to come back to haunt you. You will receive it back tenfold. No mixed signals in love, no shonky business deals or contracts, no manipulating your family and friends for your own gain. Honest and integrous is essential when Neptune is moving direct, and I would also say retrograde in the 3rd house, my beautiful Capricorn friends. Alrighty, Aquarius rising, sun or moon people. The energy of a direct Neptune is falling over here in your second house, my friends. So this is a placement when Neptune goes direct where we really have to address any self-esteem issues that have come up over the last 5 to 6 months, because our worthiness issues can really affect our finances when Neptune is here. And you might have noticed that since Neptune moved into this, oh, I've got itchy third eye. Neptune moved into this realm in 2014. And, you know, since then, how have your finances been? Can you connect your sense of deservability to how you've done financially? Because that's often the case, Neptune in the second house. So when Neptune turns direct here, it might actually help you confront any issues of deservability and help you take some action towards changing a mindset of, you know, let's say poverty consciousness, or issues of, you know, that I could never be so lucky as to have that experience and that sort of thing. Don't do that. You know, see, if you see somebody living a life that you wish you could have, no envy, what we want to do is thank the universe for the example of that beautiful illustration of what is achievable. If you see somebody living a life that you're like, oh God, I don't want that to ever happen to me, there, but for the grace of God, you know, thank the universe for the example of, you know, that highlights what you don't want, because it's giving you clarity about who you are and what you think you deserve. So thank the universe for those illustrations, whatever way they go. So yeah, use that. Observe the universe and blow away the cobwebs and the lack of clarity by saying, yep, that is what I do want. Thank you, universe. That is what I don't want. Thank you for showing me, universe, what I don't want. Now, back to the financial side of the second house. You might be afraid to ask for the money you deserve for the work that you do while Neptune is transiting here, especially when he's retrograde. But now that he's direct, you have more means, let's say, to stand up and say, hey, I'm not getting paid enough for this time that I'm putting in. So this energy is helping you, now that Neptune's direct, helping you learn to appreciate yourself and to be, you know, perhaps set some more boundaries. Not that Neptune's a boundary giver, but now that he's direct, it's easier to set boundaries, to assert or demand that you get what you're worth and not allow others to take advantage of you. So do not allow yourself to get bitter about the times when you have been taken advantage of, and don't be that victim. Like, it's not fair, my life sucks, blah, blah, blah. You know, visualize yourself with all the money that you need and the life that you want to live. Imagine yourself with the financial success and appreciation and the value you desire. Use Neptune for that empowerment. Visualize it. See it in your mind's eye. Take time to daydream about all that would look like for you. That's when it starts to manifest. Neptune can go either of two ways. If you've followed my Neptune course that's free and available online for all signs, Neptune transits the houses, do check it out on my YouTube channel. You'll know that there's big polarity with Neptune. You can either be the absolute victim that's like, oh, you know, like I've suffered so much and it's not fair and blah blah blah, or you can take your own power back and say, you know what, I'm going to visualize and dream the life that I want into being, being your own savior, so to speak. Neptune in its positive expression. So go for that. Now, if you're able to keep your hope and belief alive about, you know, I deserve this money for this work, or I deserve to, you know, have all the security in the world and protection in the world. If you can keep your hope and belief alive throughout any second house related struggles, now that Neptune has gone direct, and second house struggles might include things to do with self-esteem, finances, possessions, your sense of worth and sense of value, then you might find that magic can happen for you now that Neptune has turned direct in this realm. Your courage can help you manifest great financial success, strong self-love, now beautiful refined material possessions. Neptune is the highest level of aesthetics. So, I mean, truly beautiful. Possessions, when Neptune turns direct here, can appear by magic, but they can also disappear by magic. You know, all of a sudden you have a windfall and you've got, you know, the car of your dreams, but then you're driving down the road a week later and you ran it into a ditch, and that's the end of your beautiful car. Possessions can come and go like that, like a puff of smoke. So treasure and be thankful and be grateful for what you have. Doesn't matter what it is. Give thanks to the universe and honor it while you've got it. You never know how long you'll have your lovely things for. So enjoy them, celebrate them, delight in them while you can. Now, also get active and forward-looking while Neptune is in the house of materiality with a vision board, my friends, particularly with regard to material goals and things that you feel will enhance your sense of self-worth. Have that in front of you, stick it on your mirror. When you're getting ready every morning, you can look at it and then try and embody that and believe, get into that state of belief with what it is you want to manifest now that Neptune is direct. Thank you, precious Aquarian friends. Okay. Pisces rising, sun or moon people. Well, okay, my beautiful Pisces fellow Pisces rising, moon and sun lovers. Get myself together. Neptune is turning direct in our first house. So in modern rulerships, our third eye is so itchy. Our modern ruler Neptune is in its own sign, Pisces, in the first house. It's a placement of empowerment, my beautiful Pisces friends. And now that Neptune's direct, suddenly we've got some forward momentum. When Neptune's retrograde, it's like it's overwhelm. It's overload of Neptune energy. And so sometimes it can really express in the shadow expression of Neptune, which is not fun. It's delusion, it's deception, it's sort of not seeing things clearly. It's being led up the garden path. Yeah, and who wants that? Nobody. So now that Neptune's direct, we start to see things more clearly, and as a sign ruled by modern Neptune, it's going to empower us to a greater level in terms of the clarity that we have, and we can actually be more sensitive to psychic proddings now. We might get greater dreams, like prophetic dreams coming through now. We might get messages from spirit or departed loved ones now that really empower us and guide us forward. In fact, our guardian angels, Neptune is the planet of angels, can really be leading the way for us, opening the doors, opening some doors, shutting others, guiding us, directing us, whether we realize it or not, into where we're meant to be, into the life that is waiting for us. And for many Pisces rising people, there is a whole new life about to be opened for you as Saturn prepares to move into your first house next year. So this is 100% exciting and true that the doors are going to start to open. The guidance is going to start to come through now that Neptune, your ruler, has turned direct in your sign as Saturn prepares to move into your first house. Quite an exciting time. So you'll also be sensitized to divine expressions of art, music, maybe dance. These things are going to want to come through you now and express more naturally than they might have done when you were in Neptune retrograde overload season. Yoga, spiritualism, dance, these are great things because it's the house of the body. So when I said spiritualism, things like yoga poses, dancing, surfing, being in near water, going for, what do they call it? Meditative walks near water, really healthy for your body to let go of negativity now and to enter into a higher spiritual plane. Because what Neptune does, it brings spiritualism into the house of the body. So your spiritual flowing activities like dance and yoga can actually help you attain a higher spiritual vibration. So take the time to do those sorts of things. Obviously, having an intense one-on-one game of basketball and so on, that doesn't lift your spiritual level. It's by getting into that flowy state, that dreamy state that maybe windsurfing might do for you, and feeling the flow of the waves and being in rhythm with the wind, that can really lift your spiritual vibration, your spiritual awareness. So do things in the physical body that will ultimately raise your vibration and connect you in the spiritual as well. The goal is to actually connect to divine love when Neptune transits the first house. So Neptune will do whatever it has to in order to accomplish that. And for some, it's had to do that through difficulties, and many of you, myself included, since 2014, have experienced difficulties. In order for us to transcend the challenges of the physical realm and cling to the divine, cling to the hope. When we can cling to hope in the face of adversity and we don't give up our faith, we don't give up our belief that the universe has our back, that's when the magic can come. That's when the universe says, hey, I've seen how you have clung to the belief, clung to faith. Here's your magic reward, for your belief. For other people, there might be an energy of transcendence that comes with Neptune turning direct. There might even be higher realm experiences, where you really sort of tap into divine wisdom, divine knowledge, divine grace. Sometimes when Neptune turns direct in the first house, we might feel like things are a little bit out of hand, like we have no control, and that's okay. Like I said, Spirit is opening and closing doors to put us where it wants us to be for the next phase of our life, and this could be the next 30 years of our life because Saturn's getting ready to move into the first house. So you might experience magical events that seem like some divine hand is pulling the strings of your life, and yet things might feel totally out of control as well. Let it go. Allow yourself to feel that way. There's no point fighting the influences of the outer planets. Believe me, you will only suffer if you, get into the rugby scrum, headbutt the outer planets. You know who's going to come out the winner, and it's not you. No point fighting these influences. If you can let it take you where it needs to go, the manifestation of magic and beauty and wonder in your life will be so much easier. Be flexible, be open, be willing for the universe to transform your life. Now, you might find when Neptune turns direct that you are clearing things out of your life, left, right, and center, getting rid of unnecessary possessions, removing toxic people. This is all healthy. So this is actively dissolving boundaries that are keeping us from God and keeping us from manifesting, unconditional love. Maybe we had a cluttered home and we just could never get into our divine energy space because our home was so full of junk. And so the universe, when Neptune goes direct, is saying, let's throw out all that crap. And then we have more freedom, more space, more lightness in our external environment, so we know more freedom, more space, more lightness in our internal environment. That's what Neptune direct can do. Maybe we've got a toxic person that's dragging us down like a ball and chain. That person's got to go when Neptune goes direct in the first house so that we can buoy up and experience more of the love of God and the divine high vibration that we're really here to experience. So if you find people, things, places suddenly starting to nick off and get out of your life, celebrate it, because that's what needs to happen for you to be set free and move into your higher expression. Thank Neptune for that. That is a gift. Thank you, my beautiful Pisces rising sun and moon. Now, Aries rising sun and moon people. Well, the energy of Neptune turning direct is happening in your 12th house up here on the 4th of December, as I said in the introduction. This can bring you a powerful opportunity to take some sort of action on something behind the scenes, Aries. Something that could impact other people in some sort of subtle subconscious ways. Now, I'm not talking about being sinister here. Please don't. That's bad juju on you if you are, doing that witchy poo stuff. I mean, I totally think I'm a witch. Don't worry. I'm not knocking witches, but that sort of doing that evil kind of energy behind the scenes to try and the voodoo doll kind of stuff to try and manipulate and subvert other people. I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about doing something worthwhile behind the scenes that's going to bless other people. Neptune, planet of compassion. You might donate $3,000 to a charity organization but ask to remain anonymous. That's the kind of thing we're talking about here. You're blessing behind the scenes through acts of charity and compassion, acts of love. Neptune, high vibration. So I would encourage you to do those sorts of things if you've been sort of tinkering with the idea that, hey, I might donate or I might give my time voluntarily to something of value, something of worth. But I don't want it to be out there. I want it to be private and personal. You might experience very active, creative or powerful dreams that really transform you. And it may well be that if you're experiencing night dreams of this nature, that you are transcending to the higher realms through alchemizing old paradigms. In your dreams at night, doing the spiritual work when Neptune goes direct. You also might see some omens, particularly on the 4th of December when Neptune turns direct, animal omens, omens in nature. Keep an eye out for them because they tend to come on stronger when Neptune is sort of burrowing down on its stationary degree, which is 22nd degree of Pisces. If you've got planets here, it's going to be very powerful. So yeah, look for omens, expect them. Get out your tarot cards, get out your runes, get out whatever divination tools you like to use to understand what's going on, because this energy really does help with getting the right message from the divine, from the beyond. You can also actively protect your energy through prayer, through meditation, or surrounding yourself with angelic or divine love under this influence. Visualize yourself with spiritual weaponry to fight off any evil attacks. In fact, we should do this all the time, but with Neptune turning direct, it's even more powerful. You more than any other sign, Aries, particularly as you're the sign of the warrior anyway, but more than any other sign with Neptune turning direct in your 12th house, you can successfully fight a spiritual battle for humanity while Neptune is direct. So I just want to encourage you, Aries people who are inclined to do so, pray for humanity. Pray for the people of China, that their protests get them the freedom they deserve. Pray for the people of Iran, that their protests get them the freedom that they deserve. Pray for humanity, that we all get the freedom we deserve. You guys, you Aries people, have a big role to play in the world right now, because this is a powerful energy that you can utilize to bless humanity. And I'd encourage you, please do so. Now, if you need to retreat or take a break from ordinary reality, with Neptune turning direct for the next 6 to 7 months in your 12th house, I would encourage you to take a break by getting active in Neptunian ways, things that flow, yoga, dance, meditative walks by water, having a surf or playing in the waves. That's the sort of thing that can take you to a higher spiritual plane, which is of 12th house energy, the spiritual plane. And you are such an active energy. So I'd encourage you to do those active energies that are going to help support your spiritual life by lifting your vibration as well, doing those Neptunian, Piscean sports activities or energetic activities that flow and that find oneness with the flow and the harmony of the universe. You won't regret it. It will be so soul enhancing as well as physically enhancing. Thank you, precious Aries friends. All right. Taurus rising, sun or moon people. The energy of Neptune turning direct is occurring for you in the 11th house of the horoscope. And with this position, you might find that you notice after the 4th of December that your friends are much more affectionate, more loving, more generous, more supportive with Neptune turning direct. The 11th house represents benefactors and friends and social circles. And so the universe is going to support you and bless you through these people now that Neptune is moving forward. But usually that only happens as a reflection. Neptune is the mirror. As a reflection of what we've been giving out. So if you have been giving out unconditional love to other people, unconditional love is going to flow back to you from others in your life. So, how have you been, my beautiful Taurus friends, throughout the energy of Neptune retrograde? Have you been giving unconditional love? Have you been supporting others? Have you been blessing others? You're going to get it all back. So lovely. Not that we do it to get this back, but isn't it nice when our love and affection is reciprocated? Now, you will need to cultivate an attitude of forgiveness and getting rid of any expectations with Neptune here, direct. If people have been nasty to you, if people have been mean to you, or if someone has wronged you, let it go. Neptune is a planet of forgiveness, now direct in your house of other people, house of social circles and social groups. You've got to maintain your belief that people are good at heart. And if you can do that, even in the face of people not being that way, if you can hold on to the faith and belief that people are good at heart, then the rewards are going to come to you by the universe surrounding you with loving, kind, gracious people, just as you deserve to have. You'll have a tendency with Neptune direct now to want to avoid confrontation. And that's okay. That's good. But just don't let people take advantage of you. Don't be naive regarding your friendships in that instance. It's a position that's all about dreams and wishes. And hey, Neptune, you can wish for the moon. You can dream and imagine whatever you want. And why shouldn't you? Because the more you can visualize what you want your life to look like, what your world should be, the more that it has the chance to manifest when Neptune is in the house of dreams and wishes. So take some time regularly over the next 6 to 7 months while Neptune's direct to really make it part of your life, to dream, to visualize, to wish for what you want, to wish upon a star, as the old Disney song goes. You probably might find that you have some utopic dreams coming up now about wanting to be part of community, wanting to have a sense of belonging, wanting to live in harmony with other people or harmony with nature. That's perfectly healthy and perfectly normal. So reach out, connect, and try and build that to make that happen now that Neptune is direct. You might even have a desire to join some sort of utopian society. And why shouldn't you? This is a great energy to do that under. Now, your dreams and your wishes might even expand now that Neptune is direct. And you might even find that your dreams and wishes start to come true now that Neptune is direct. The magic can start to happen. The blessing can start to infiltrate and flow into your life. Friendships and benefactors might appear in your life in order to transform it and bless it and bring about this magic transformation. So, very beautiful, very, very beautiful, Taurus friends. All right, Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon, peeps. Okay, well, look, the energy of Neptune turning direct is happening on an angular house in the 10th house for you. Neptune is about going with the flow, whether he's retrograde or direct. But now that he is direct, you can more effectively take action. Still need to go with the flow, still need to be flexible and allow the universe to do what it needs to do in regard to your presence in the public sphere, your reputation and so on. Neptune in the 10th house can also represent gossip. You need to sort of, allow the gossip to just flow on past. Don't get too engaged. Don't let it bring you down, what people are saying. But you can take collective action now, not collective, you can take action now to rid your reputation of any confusion. You can take action now to, uphold your reputation, but also to get some clarity around a career for yourself too. If you've been feeling like, I just don't know where I want to be, do I want to do my hairdressing and, in Florida, or do I want to go to Vancouver? I don't know. Now you can get some direction about your career, literally correct direction. You know where you want to go, and the universe is likely to lead and guide you in terms of career. It's going to allow you to follow your heart more. It's going to open the doors so that you can follow your heart and you can trust your intuition. Intuition about career and reputation and worldly advancement is strong, so trust it now that Neptune is direct. It's a time for inspiration. It's a time for creativity. It's a time for going with the flow, as I said, in your career as well. But you need to trust the omens of the divine and the signals that indicate the right path for you to choose. If the universe opens a door and you just walk right on by and ignore it and say, oh, I don't want that, well, you're going to miss out on all the blessing the universe has for you. Keep your eyes peeled for the opportunities. Be aware and be open to following the directions and the flow of the divine. Act on your inspiration. Follow your heart. Trust it. Don't squash it down and deny it. Oh, that can't be right. That can't be true. The universe would never let me do that, or that's too good to be true. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is exactly what the universe wants for you. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Trust and take action. So it's actually quite good for people with this transit, Gemini, to get a mentor now to assist in giving them structure and to make sure that you achieve your worth under this influence, because it is quite likely, with Pisces on the midheaven, but also with Neptune transiting your 10th house, it is also possible, Gemini friends, that you might undercharge for your work, or you might charge nothing at all, and you might not be getting, your true remuneration that you thoroughly deserve for the gifts you have to give to the world. So just beware of that. And Neptune turning direct might give you the impetus to get a career mentor to help you. You might experience ebbs and flows of passion in relation to career ideas now. One day you're all excited about, I'm going to be a new fashion designer and I've got this design and that design, I'm going to sew it all up, and a week later you're like, that's it, I'm going to do a film, I'm going to write a movie and whatever. And you've got to keep don't be so blown about by the wind with career. Try and keep your vision and your dream clear in front of you now that Neptune is direct, and do that no matter how many people poo-poo your ideas. Growing up, I had I've got Neptune on the midheaven natally, and I had a million different ideas for what I wanted to do. And I think I've mentioned this before, but my younger sister would throw cold water over everything, every fanciful daydream that I had. But when Neptune's on the midheaven, you got to learn to ignore those naysayers, because miracles can happen in career when you have Neptune on the midheaven. My sister doesn't have Neptune on the midheaven, so of course the miracles don't happen to her. Her career, when she's quite successful, her career has happened through her goddamn hard work. And I'm not saying I don't work hard, I do, but she's got there through clawing her way to the top. People with Neptune on the midheaven need to hold fast to the mast of their dream and their vision, and they need to work hard, but they're less likely to claw all over everybody else to get what they want. They need to just hold on to their dream no matter how crazy that dream seems, and lo and behold, magic can happen and you can achieve the career dream that you have. Look at me, I'm a YouTube astrologer. Is that in, the career handbook that you get at high school? No, it's not. It's visions and dreams and goals that are ethereal, that Neptune will give you for career and career success. You've got to hang on to them to make them happen, Gemini. So now that Neptune's turned direct, get clarity about your dream, cling to that dream, have hope in that dream. Even when there's naysayers, even when they're throwing cold water, even when it doesn't look likely to happen, believe in yourself and Neptune or believe in your dream, and Neptune will reward you eventually. If you hang in there, it doesn't mean you might not have to, be a waitress or a waiter in a restaurant in the meantime, but if you keep working steadily towards it, Neptune will eventually reward you with its magical blessings in the realm of career. Don't take chances now that Neptune is direct with authority figures or governments. Be the highest level of integrity that you possibly can be, dot those I's, cross those T's, nothing ambiguous. You might also be really seriously considering creative careers or careers in healing or medical professions, spiritual or mystical professions. Neptune has connections to farmers, charity workers, marketing, advertising, people who have great success with poetry, actors, singers. They can be very blessed in their career. If you have a career in these realms, you could be highly inspired and energized over the next 6 to 7 months as well. There's also an ability to creatively resolve any cloudy issues you might have with bosses or a parent or other authority figures now that Neptune's direct. So if you need to give an apology or if you need to request an apology, forgiveness is a Neptunian thing, do it now that Neptune is direct at some stage over the next 6 to 7 months. It's all good. As my son's so good, man. My son says that all the time. All right, Cancer rising, sun or moon people. Okay, well, you guys, let me just hold the board still. You guys are having Neptune turning direct for you in the 9th house. Now, this is a position. What a fascinating position this is. It's actually trining your natal house. And I will also point out, if you have your rising degree at 22 degrees, it's actually powering down on by trine to your rising degree. That could be very powerful for many people watching this. This is a position, my son, I feel like saying bless you at the background, my son's sneezing. This is a position where miracles can happen through the power of your belief. What you think is what you can manifest with this position. Oh wow, so powerful. So believe in the power of your dreams. Believe in a prosperity, prosperity gospel, but prosperity, you get the rewards of what you dream about. You will get what you long for. You will get what you deserve. Create some sort of positive belief, positive mind structure. You can be very surprised at the outcome. What you choose to believe, especially around the 4th of December, will determine what you choose to, what the universe chooses to allow you to receive. Belief equals magical manifestation. Neptune turning direct in the house of belief. Very, very powerful. So choose uplifting beliefs, not a poverty mentality, not a I'm a victim, not I'm always sick. Choose your beliefs wisely and actively fill your mind with positive beliefs. It's going to magically transform life for you under this influence. Now, Neptune is direct for the next 6 to 7 months, so this is a time for being quite independent in your beliefs. Neptune doesn't bow down to anybody, I have to say, Neptune, I mean, it's not a individualistic planet like our good old Uranus up here that will go his own way no matter what. But you try and hold back the tides which Neptune rules. You can't do it. You try and make Neptune conform. No way, Jose. Neptune does not conform to the expectations of other people. Neptune will follow its own path. Thank you very much. So you, under this influence, can really develop your own independent beliefs. Don't give your power away to other people in terms of what you choose to align yourself with belief-wise. Don't be swayed by other people's opinions. Trust in the divinity of your own thought processes, the power of your own belief. Trust it. If you believe that you're going to be the next Joe Rogan, cling to that belief. It's entirely possible. Doesn't matter what anybody says. This is the house of belief. And over the next 6 to 7 months, by God, you could be the next Joe Rogan. Go you. Trust, believe, faith, hope. I have a sign on my bathroom mirror that says trust, hope, and flow. And that's so Neptune. Trust in the universe, hope, and have belief in your dreams, and flow with whatever comes. Perfect Neptunian energy. Your spiritual beliefs can really strengthen under this influence. Neptune is now direct, and so what you stand for in terms of what you believe becomes stronger, and you can actually take action in life from more virtuous motivations now, more integrous motivations, whereas before your actions and the ethics and morals behind them might have been a bit cloudy. You might have thought this is a righteous thing to do, Cancer, to take this choice or make this action. You might have thought, oh yes, that's righteous, that's honorable, that's integrous, but maybe it was completely out of alignment with your heart. And you foggily, with Neptune retrograde, believed, hey, yeah, that's for my highest good. Now Neptune's direct, the fog's blown away, and you're like, oh, actually, what is truly virtuous is to honor my heart and not keep up a false facade about something, for example. So, acting from more virtuous motivations, very strong under this energy now. You can also really benefit from foreign people, foreign travels. Now for the next 6 to 7 months, you can benefit from some sort of higher learning. And by that, I don't necessarily mean you've got to go to university or anything like that, but it might just be getting a book on Göbekli Tepe. I mean, that's a level of higher knowledge that mankind is being awakened to. And, you might research and delve into that. That might be what Spirit is calling you to jump into. So some sort of higher learning might be calling you, and for the next 6 to 7 months while Neptune's direct, you might gain a lot of clarity through that higher learning. Or it could be that you interact with somebody in a foreign country, and that gives you more clarity, more understanding, and elevates your spiritual vibration as well. You might travel to a foreign country and it absolutely changes your life at some point in the next 6 to 7 months while Neptune is direct. So if you've been contemplating foreign travels, I would actually seriously consider it, because this is such a life-changing, once in a lifetime opportunity. While Neptune is in Pisces, foreign countries, Neptune's overseas, Pisces is faraway places. My God, Cancer, if you don't travel overseas at some point in the next couple of years before Neptune leaves Pisces, there's your once in a lifetime opportunity to be spiritually transformed by a foreign journey. Neptune's been here since 2014. You've only got a couple of years left. I think it's 2026 when Neptune leaves. Get on it. Get on it while you can, because the transformation that is available to you in terms of what you believe and your higher truth and your higher knowledge and connection to your higher self, it's never going to repeat again in this lifetime. So please make the most of it, Cancer. You might be feeling a bit restless. Neptune turning direct now in the house of travel. So there's a longing that might come up here to travel to exotic places or to get involved with sort of more utopic kind of belief systems, perhaps. It's a great day to act on those motivations. In fact, it's a great 6 to 7 months now that Neptune is direct to act on those motivations too. Thank you, precious Cancer friends. Now, my Leos, I usually say every week, lovely Leo, and they are lovely Leo people. Got so many Leo friends in my life. All right. we've got the energy of Neptune turning direct over here in the 8th house. This is an extremely psychic position and a spiritual position too. This is where you can now astral travel and have paranormal experiences now that Neptune's direct, and they just come with ease. You don't even really have to try. But just beware, when this happens, we need to be very careful of predatory influences and the more negative occult influences. So there is a need, if you're going to do some astral travel, if you're going to expose yourself to paranormal experiences, just make sure you do protective techniques to begin with before you allow yourself to experience those things. Prayer, visualization, surrounding yourself with angelic or divine love, very, very necessary to be safe under this influence. Now, you can actually, Neptune direct might mean there could be some clarity coming to you regarding some succession planning with a family member of some sort, or dealing with inheritances. While Neptune was retrograding, there might have been a lack of clarity, like you might have wanted to put in a bid for a portion of the family farm or something, and you never got an answer. Like things might have been ambiguous, or people skirted around the topic, and you were like, you're left hanging. I don't know where I stand. I've put in this offer, nobody's giving me any feedback. That's a story from my life. But now that Neptune's direct, hello Kesenya, Leo sun, you could actually approach somebody about some type of inheritance or putting in an offer on the family farm or something that would be well received and dealt with appropriately, instead of leaving you foggy and misty and lacking in clarity. So now's the time for dealing with those sorts of succession planning and inheritance issues. People will be less likely to be unbelievably offended by your requests, and they will tend to appreciate your more upfront approach and direct approach. Now, you won't be left sitting in the midst of confusion around a will or a legacy. Some people might now find a positive, if you've partnered up, a positive or even a hidden surprise around your partner's finances. Now that could be for good. Suddenly, you discover that your partner has $100,000 in a bank account that he'd forgotten about, and you're like, hey, it's Christmas. Or it could be like, oh my God, my partner's been stashing money away in a bank account that I knew nothing about. What's all this? What's going on? How come you've been hiding money from me? So surprises of either a positive nature or a not so positive nature could be waiting for you at some point over the next 6 to 7 months, as Neptune now turns direct in the house of hidden resources. Okay. Now, there might be some conspiracy theories that are exposed to you now that might challenge your understanding at some times in the next 6 to 7 months. So, there's plenty going around. A lot of them, there's a grain of truth to the majority, and, conspiracy theorists are being shown these days to be, actual researchers. Thank God. But you might come across some conspiracy theory, which is an 8th house thing, basically a well-researched topic that the powers that be are trying to keep hidden, is what the conspiracy theories often are. You might come across one that really challenges your belief about humanity, or about people, or about governments, or about something like that. And it might start from today. There might be little grains of infiltration of truth coming through to you now that Neptune has turned direct. So if you're presented with some theory and it seems far out, I want you to sort of give some space to it. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there may be more to it than you realize, okay? The House of Conspiracy Theories, Neptune turning direct, my Leo friends. Exceptional opportunities to sort of experience divine bliss come with Neptune direct in this house of sex. So, getting to a higher state of consciousness through euphoric orgasm, that could be on the cards for many Leo people over the next 6 to 7 months. Bring it, I say. It's not just about body connection, though. This is... Body connection is seen, 5th house is mostly a let's have sex for fun kind of thing. This is much more about, we want connection of the soul. And it's through physical union that we reach that soul ecstasy. So for many Leo people, and this happens through sex, but it can also happen in other ways. The euphoric experience of soul connecting with soul is 8th house. Bless you, Leo people. Like, this is where, if you can hold on to, and I'm speaking to myself as much as anyone, if you can hold on to the dream that Neptune says here, like there is soulmates out there. There is connection of soul to soul that you can have in this lifetime. The more you hold on to this dream, Neptune, in the face of the lack of it in reality, the more that Neptune is ultimately going to give you the magical manifestation or the miracle of that experience in your life. Don't lose faith. Don't become cynical, Leo friends, about the existence of soul-on-soul connection, intimacy, depth, euphoric orgasm. Don't lose faith in those things, even if they might be absent in your life, because faith, Neptune is faith. Continued faith brings about the manifestation of the promise of Neptune, usually in our 40s, sometimes a little bit later. Okay, now that I can hear lots of 22-year-olds rolling their eyes going, oh my God, do you think I've got to wait that long to get well, no, it can happen earlier than that too, depending on the construction of your chart and how geared it is towards finding a soulmate, of course. But for others, they might need to really hang on to that hope, like, Rose clinging to the door of the ship Titanic, hanging on to hope that it will come true. Some of us have to go through that experience in life. And Neptune, while he's in Pisces, is saying, you hang on to that faith, I'll reward you with the miracle that you're hoping for. Especially as Neptune's now getting up to the latter degrees of Pisces, that's when that reward starts to come on in. Thumbs up, my beautiful Leo friends. Soul connection awaits you. Okay, and we are now up to Virgo. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon, people. Well, the energy of Neptune turning direct is occurring for you in the 7th house. 7th house, Virgo. Let's hope that just stays put there. Yes, it's going to. Fantastic. Well, thank you for waiting until last, my gorgeous Virgo friends. And to have Neptune turning direct in the house, like the ruler of the 7th house, in the 7th house, turning direct is quite a powerful placement because it's an angular house. So up until now, while Neptune's been retrograding, you might have been seeing relationships through rose-colored glasses. You might have been idolizing someone or sexually attracted to somebody that when Neptune goes direct, you're like, oh, suddenly the rose-colored glasses come off and you're like, what was I thinking? My goodness me. Who was I in that stage of Neptune retrograde? We need to be very careful because delusion, when Neptune is in the house of partnership, can be really difficult. In fact, I think this is, from my opinion, this is one of the worst places to have Neptune in the natal chart because we just don't see other people clearly. We're deluded about other people and then we end up making big mistakes that affect our life. So that's when Neptune's functioning at the lowest vibration. It doesn't always do that. I mean, Paul McCartney has Neptune in the 7th house and he has had experiences of delusion about partners, but he's also had divine love from partners too. So that's what we all want, isn't it? So let's hope we all get the higher vibration of divine union, divine love that we really hunger for. Keep in mind, Neptune's bringing a little bit, not entire clarity, because it's still Neptune in the 7th house, but a little bit more clarity to the 7th house. You cannot be in a state of permanent bliss in relationships, permanent romance. You might dream of this, you might expect this, especially while Neptune's retrograde, but now that Neptune's direct, it's like your feet are a little bit more firmly planted on the ground and you're like, I probably need to give a little here because that was a bit unrealistic, So you might be waking up to where you've been living with rose-colored glasses or where you've been a bit unrealistic about your expectations from your partner, and that includes business relationships or relationships with clients and so forth as well. You will be less likely to allow your partners or your clients, marriage partners, business partners to take advantage of you now that Neptune is direct. That's a relief. You'll have the courage and the willpower now to stand up to them if they are taking advantage of you. Thank goodness. I have seen some people with this in their natal chart who really, they'd give people the shirt off their back, but then they'd really suffer for it. Like they'd have no one to keep them warm or nothing to keep them warm, that kind of thing. So it's less likely to happen when Neptune is direct now in the 7th house by transit. Any relationships where you are being a savior for another person, you can deal with them a lot more clearly now. You know, you might just see for the first time where you've been giving yourself away, doing yourself no favors, self-sabotaging through, you know, sacrificing yourself for someone else. It might just all come home to you now, Virgo, and you might be like, duh, how could I? What was I thinking? Compassion is wonderful, and let's face it, you Virgo people are capable of tremendous compassion. But enabling and savior complex, they're not healthy in relationships ever. So be aware of the weaknesses of your partner, but also be realistic about their ability to be healed, to be saved, to be changed, and let them deal with their saving, their healing, their changing, because they're the only ones who can change. Believe me, they are the only ones who can change their life. We can love people and care about them, but that's where it ends, you know. Don't sacrifice yourself. Don't be the savior for other people. It will always end in disaster, despite what the movies and the fairy tales might tell us. Sort that out. Take action now that Neptune is direct to pull back from being the savior. Also pull back from being a victim as well, because that's the other extreme of Neptune, is the poor me, I need someone to rescue me, when's my Prince Charming coming on his white horse, and, you know, like rubbish. You know, save yourself. Like I said, we are the only ones who can transform our lives. It's up to us. So now that Neptune is direct, we get a bit more clarity around where we've been a victim or where we've been acting as a savior. There might be some need now that Neptune is direct to dissolve some contracts with romantic partners or business partners or clients or our audience. And this is a good energy to sort of dissolve those contracts. You can walk away with a winning hand now that Neptune is direct, especially in its own sign. So that is what I'm seeing, my beloved friends, for all signs this week. I hope this reading is a blessing to you. Thank you for blessing me by watching my videos. And I will catch you next week with another Astro Weather Report. I'll catch you then.